Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for another YouTube video. Allincrypto here, and today we are going to be talking about a rather interesting topic as it relates to Cardano, and we are going to be bringing this topic up based on a Reddit post that is titled, "Why does everybody hate Cardano so much? It is innovative and seems to have a great future." So we're going to look at the post, and then probably more importantly, we are going to be looking at the replies where people are sharing their reasons why they dislike Cardano. Now, my personal take on Cardano is that it has some of the best technology behind it in the entire crypto space. They have nothing short of pioneered the proof of stake field and are gaining a lot of traction. If you look at their DeFi TVL, total value locked, I think they're about 11th or 12th in terms of positioning. And we started 2023 right the way down at the sort of 40, 50-ish spot. It's also a top 10 cryptocurrency. And there is a lot of things that are going on with Cardano that ultimately lead me to believe that it is going to be successful. I ultimately believe that Cardano is the evolution of Bitcoin, and it holds and upholds many of the values that Bitcoin cherishes at the forefront of its design. So, with all that being said, let's take a look at the Reddit post, and then we're going to dive into the top replies and try and work out why it is and what the arguments are in regards to perhaps being against Cardano. And it's important for me to say that not everybody hates Cardano. In fact, I would say a lot more people really like Cardano than dislike it. And from where I'm sitting, or where I've been sitting, actually Cardano has received some of the greatest support from people within the cryptocurrency space. You know, it has a very zealous following that ultimately believe in the long-term vision of Cardano. So let's get into it, guys. Let's start off with the Reddit post. And the Reddit post, of course, reads, "Why does everyone hate Cardano so much? It is innovative and it seems to have a great future." I read a lot of posts here, and it seems to me that most people hate on Cardano. I don't think that's quite true. Is it because Cardano is a threat to their bag holdings, or they think the project is trash? After my DYOR, which stands for Do Your Own Research, I discovered that Cardano is moving forward with great tech and innovation. It is in the top 10 cryptocurrency projects at the number 8 position, following Bitcoin and Ethereum. Cardano has been in the top 10 for a very long time and will probably be in the top 5 this next bull market. We will see. The project is solid. The only problem I see is that the marketing is horrible. Now, I wouldn't say the marketing is horrible. It's just probably not one of the priorities of IOG Charles and, you know, all the people who perhaps are most at the forefront of marketing. And I have to say that I don't think the marketing is horrible. I do, however, think that it is lackluster when you compare it to other marketing done by other cryptocurrency projects. So I wouldn't use the word horrible. I would say in some cases it's a little bit lackluster. But that, I think, is because Cardano is really looking to be adopted in a similar fashion that Bitcoin is or has been. So Hoskinson himself said they don't want a hype Moonboy price action. They want steady organic growth, which I think is excellent in the long run, building something to last over time. My opinion is Cardano could do what Solana did in 2021 if the cycle is as big as people predict. I won't give the tech reasons why I like Cardano, but that is easy enough to find out. Not financial advice, just my opinion. So I don't think there's really any chance of Cardano doing what Solana did in 2021, certainly not in the next bull run. Solana in 2021 did a 25,000% gain. And if Cardano did that from where it is currently at today, it would put its price in sort of $121 range, which I don't quite think is feasible. What I want to do, guys, is dive into some of the top replies to give you guys an idea of why it is people dislike Cardano. And at the end, we'll conclude with the main reasons that were commented on this post, which was rather popular, as all Cardano posts are, in regards to why it is people dislike Cardano. So the first one we're going to start off with, which is the top post or the top comment on this Reddit post, is we need to face reality that most people don't care about tech or decentralization or core principles of blockchain technology. What matters most to the majority is price. I agree. If price goes up, people are happy. If price goes down, people are unhappy. Cardano was hyped a lot, then price crashed a lot. It will take time to recover from that. Cardano doesn't have much hype left behind it. It's just got utility. Projects with utility move slower in terms of price than projects fueled by hype. Easiest explanation for why there's a lot of hate for Cardano is people lost money buying at $3 and now it's at 50 cents. So I actually partly agree with a lot of what this individual is saying. I think a lot of the hate that's issued and put on Cardano comes from investors who have invested in Cardano when it was higher and are now holding a bag that's underwater. And this will, I think, leave a distaste in anybody's mouth. However, I think it's rather unfair, and it's their own actions that have caused them ultimately to dislike Cardano, not the underlying protocol or the amazing community and projects that are building on top of it. Let's move on now to the next comment, which is, it's vaporware. Not enough people know how to code in Haskell. Now, it is not vaporware. It's been called a ghost chain and all these things, which simply in time has been proven to not be true. It's had nothing short of positive growth across all metrics. And the Haskell comment, I think, is perhaps a fair one. Haskell is very low down in terms of developers and the amount of them. However, the beautiful thing about Cardano, and this is something that's consistent with criticism that's levied against Cardano, is this individual clearly hasn't done his research and hasn't uncovered projects like Marlowe, which is making smart contracts easy to do on Cardano in a kind of handheld way, and also things like ALLIN, which will allow you to code in a different language to ultimately be able to deploy on the Cardano blockchain in Haskell. That will essentially, what will essentially happen there is the language that you choose or the language that ALLIN employ gets converted into Haskell. So there's no security sort of sacrifices there. So we're not going to put too much weight on that comment. Another comment here is it was shilled to high hell in the last bull run. So that probably plays a part. I couldn't care less either way. It won't affect my bag holdings. So I do think this is a theme that's consistent. And I think the first comment definitely summarized this. That actually a lot of people that don't like Cardano don't like it from an investment point of view because perhaps they have lost money or are holding an unrealized loss on it. That is actually totally their own actions and doesn't reflect the actual Cardano protocol at all. And I do believe there was a lot of hype surrounding it. Some perhaps malicious, some just people were very excited about the Cardano blockchain. We were one of the biggest hypers for Cardano in 2020, 2021. It did exceptional, and we actually thought it was going to continue into 2022, but of course it didn't, and we pivoted very quickly. So another comment here is the staking is amazing, 1010, but the platform itself is not fun to use. It's slow AF and expensive, and it is not user-friendly. And there's pretty much zero traction. Most of the fees come from people staking. So I love his comment about the staking is amazing. It absolutely is. It essentially has built-in liquid staking. The comment in regards to the platform itself not being user-friendly, I think is completely inaccurate. As somebody that uses and has used probably hundreds of chains, multiple hundreds of different chains, I think Cardano has one of the best UIs, user experiences in the game. I simply do. There are protocols out there that have a really rich, vibrant ecosystem, but the UI just simply sucks. It's got amazing wallets. It's very easy to use. Yes, it is slower than other chains, but not to a degree where it would make Cardano unusable. And in regards to zero traction, that also simply isn't true. There's lots of volume on Cardano. And if we look at wallets, that is essentially an up and to the right chart. There's an individual here saying, I hate it because no matter how good the news is about ADA, the price remains stagnant or goes down. Not holding my breath on this coin. Also, Charles is a terrible spokesperson. He is a snotty, overbearing twit. And if he had any understanding of how he is perceived, he'd hire someone else to do the public speaking. I blame him more than anyone for ADA's crappy value. Can you tell I'm down 85% in my ADA holdings? So a consistent theme with most of the top comments on this Reddit post are that from really disgruntled investors. And you'll notice actually there's a lot of comments in regards to Charles Hoskinson and people having a personal preference against him, which is fine. One of the things that makes the world such a beautiful and vibrant place is that we all have our own opinions. Could you imagine if everyone had the same one? But Charles is nothing short of a polarizing character. I happen to be a big fan of him and think he's done nothing short of pioneer and lead the crypto space onto higher and better ground. Let's move on. There's another post here that says because of Charles. Again, a consistent theme. Comment here saying it is an iterative build with a measured approach to adding functionality. It's been on the roadmap since 2016 that scalability improvements will be coming after smart contracts, etc. And we are still in the era of scalability, by the way. Smart contracts were in 2021. And since then, they've had numerous scaling improvements. People like to rag on Cardano, but it's got proof of stake right. It probably has the best in class proof of stake, in my opinion. And the staking mechanism is still best in class, and it's pioneering that itself. Ethereum staking isn't anywhere near as good as Cardano's. A valid complaint is that Charles is super divisive. He rubs people up the wrong way sometimes, but I can forgive that in light of the excellent speech he did at Congress when he talked in favor of cryptos globally. He didn't mention Cardano even once because he wasn't there to shill anything. He was there to push crypto forward as a whole, and ultimately we need more people with Charles's approach, attitude, and experience in the space. So not everyone is against Charles Hoskinson, which is nice to see. Again, he for me, he's been a great actor within the cryptocurrency space and is really a pioneer of it. Somebody that was fundamental and really helped Ethereum along, and then of course went on to fund Cardano. So why do Cardano proponents always say they invest because the tech is great, innovative, revolutionary, but never explain why the tech they believe is so special is actually special? Why does every Cardano backer talk about being slow, steady, and methodical, pacing of development being its strength, when that slow, steady, and methodical pace results in its first major DEX bogging down the chain where swaps took hours to complete? At least examples where this development methodology has resulted in things better in-chain that have released around its initial start of 2017 and later. Do people on Cardano like having DEXs with batcher fees and having to put up 2 ADA collateral to do a swap? So the incident that the individual here is talking about, of course, is Sunday Swap, when it's not long after we launched smart contracts. And it was very slow. There was a lot of congestion. This has all been eased and you don't have those issues anymore. So this is an old issue that essentially has been fixed. I do largely disagree with this comment. However, he does bring up something that I think is important in regards to DEXs, and that is the 2% ADA fee. I think that fee personally is too high. I think if Cardano moves into the dollar plus range, then actually, that becomes rather expensive, certainly amplified. However, as a whole, I think this comment is outdated and not a reason to dislike Cardano. There's another comment here. Its creator tells you it is innovative and that it has a great future. Well, he wouldn't be a very good ambassador for Cardano if he said anything other than that. Charles isn't my favorite. He is the reason they're top 10 and also the reason they're not top 5 at the same time. Their development style is at a snail's pace, which risks them losing ground, actually, in my opinion. Out of anything you could have said about marketing, I actually think they only got as far as they did so far via marketing. I'm not seeing their upside. So I would disagree. I don't think marketing, which other people have commented has been lackluster, is the reason Cardano is where it's at. I think it's because it's really focused on this grassroots kind of bottom-up approach, where they've looked for organic growth and to build a strong community, which it has today, ultimately to carry it into the future. Devs described that Haskell is a pain and hell to work with. It provides security, but wider adoption of Haskell will be very hard. Cardano can't even scale at the base level and needs layer 2s, so no reason to pick it over Ethereum. I've just got to stop here, guys. I mean, that is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Cardano can't even scale at the base layer. and needs layer 2s, so no reason to pick it over Ethereum. Ethereum simply can't scale at the base layer. This is proven with the entire layer ecosystem that has been built around Ethereum, and Ethereum now moving to more of a security role, which Cardano was actually always built to do. And of course, we know that within the scaling roadmap for Cardano, layer 2s are a big part of it and always have been. So I don't really get the Ethereum comment. The Haskell comment also is kind of a bit of a non-starter, because you can use things like ALLIN and various other means to actually code in a more coder-friendly or developer-friendly manner that gets converted into Haskell and put on the main chain. So there are already chains that can scale at the layer 1, agreed, level. So even after taking years, Cardano is behind a lot of layer 1s that are recent and faster development. I personally don't think it is winning tech, and I would never invest in it. Charles is also a clown, would never invest in that guy. So the overwhelming sort of consensus is really to do with Charles Hoskinson and perhaps people's lack of understanding of where the project's currently at and basing it on old news. So Charles Hoskinson seems to be one of the main themes throughout this. You also have the scalability issue that's brought up on a number of occasions, which I think actually, Cardano is not the most scalable blockchain right now. There is a plan for it to become that with the likes of Hydra and various other things and other sort of partner chains and things that are going on. And of course, I think the two main things is Charles. People perhaps have a disagreement with his personality, and of course the disgruntled investors who are holding unrealized loss. And this, I thought, was a good exercise to kind of show you, based on a popular Reddit post, what some of the arguments are in regards to why people dislike Cardano. And I think actually there's not a lot of reason, based on what we've just looked at and what we've been covering on the channel for years now, to have a distaste and a dislike to Cardano other than personal preference. A lot of the arguments that are levied against Cardano simply do not hold any weight, and thus fall short of being valid criticism against what, in my opinion, is an extremely innovative, exciting, and rich project that ultimately I think is going to do very well moving forwards, for the same reasons that Bitcoin has done well. Do we want to live in the techno-feudalistic world, or do we want to actually have our own systems that can compete with the current legacy systems? And that is Cardano. On that note, I am going to love and leave you. If you've enjoyed this content, a like is always greatly appreciated. So is a comment. And I look forward to seeing each and every one of you in the next YouTube video. Thanks a lot for watching. See you in the next one.